So you can probably tell by the description of this video, unhappy people start drama for no reason. And I wanted this to be a bit different because it's something that my characters touched on so many times. I can't even like how many times, but it's emphasized to the point where I just can't come away from it. And I've avoided for many years watching the news or watching politics or podcasts. I've watched little shorts of people like they think, oh, just because you watch Joe Rogan or a podcast on UFC or MMA or football or whatever, like we gotta show you other kinds of podcasts, and then you look at it, it's like some immature piece of shit, right? But that's not what this video is about. This video is different, and I'll explain why. We all know, and I'm not going to mention names, but we all know how corrupt systems are. We've lived in depression, we've lived in sadness, we've lived in revolt for years. And, I follow a mental health page on my Instagram because I've kind of suffered with it myself, right? Around certain people. I've tried to open up to people. I've tried to show them, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to train with you and work with you and talk with you. And, they've always managed to kind of like go off in their own direction, right? When I touch on politics or I touch on things that make me angry or furious, or like to say it, like you can't be soft about the situation. We're in a generation now where this country's on the brink of collapse. You know what I mean? We're at war, and I'm just like, what the actual fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like everyone has their different view on it. Like everyone's like, this guy's trying to fix this guy's trying to do that. But my view on it is, we are divided and we are like against each other. And even when people try and make a video that's like true to their best intentions, whether it be a male or a female, they end up getting slandered, and people make videos on them and disrespect them harshly, whatever side of the spectrum they are, right? And I'm not talking about genders. I'm talking about the side of left or right, right? There is no left and there is no right. It's a coping mechanism that liberals and people who believe in weakness believe in, right? I've touched on I believe, right? And what that means is I believe in myself. Now, there are a bunch of bitches that I've met throughout my life that have had this negative view on me, like, oh, you're this, like, even if I was to walk over to them and try and have like a respectful sit down and a conversation, whatever it may be, I'm the problem, right? They look at me like, you're the problem, and it's interesting that whenever I watch these stories, nothing's changed. When I tap into this character and I tap into the highest level, I have to be, and I have to believe in the moment that I am the highest level possible, because I am the highest level possible. There's only ever been one dino. There will only ever be one dino, one confused fella, one guy that sets the record straight. You know what I mean? That is who I am. When I play these recordings, when I listen to these various artists, when I listen to these podcasts, it's like I'm being lectured with various agendas. Or I listen to a YouTuber that thinks he's super political, or thinks that just because he's wearing a certain brand, or he thinks he's this and he thinks he's that, like, it's just, you know what I mean? When I watch an individual and I hear logic coming out, I can sit there and go like, when they open their mouths, everything constructive comes out. They're not shilling, they're reason. There's no term of woke or left or right or in the middle, or it is what it is. What I hear is, we've got to be logical. we're losing our country, we're losing our rights, we're losing our money, we're losing our families, we're losing everything that we have. When I go back to COVID, and I've never, when I started this, right, because I started this in 2018, I wanted to make COVID freestyles. I did. I just couldn't. I lost a lot of people, right? A lot of people moved out and moved on, and certain family members passed away, and I just couldn't. Everyone was isolating, and I haven't seen certain people since that moment, since that time. Everybody's kind of been sticky on the situation, but that was because the government cooked it up, right? I don't care about mentioning them. Again, I violate corruption. I harbor hate for that type of evil. I've labeled it bullshit and fuckery because to me, that's all I see. When I go back to CADs walking over to me in Fireworker, right? I analysed the situation after that very moment, and I was like, I know exactly why. And it pissed me off last year from October to, I'd say, however long it went on for, right? I kept thinking about it like it happened years ago, but it was always something that I just couldn't move from. I couldn't move on from it. And that's because I hate agendas. When people approach you and they start disrespecting you, you can't think that it's normal. Yeah, people are allowed to, skill you out and go like, yeah, you're good, but I'm better. That's fine. If people can score more goals than you, if people can be more athletic than you. But when someone picks a fight with you for fuck all reason, then you have to say that ain't normal. There's a problem. No, they're not the problem. There's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to address here in this video. They are unhappy people, like the people that are ruining our economy, the people that are ruining our society, the people that are ruining our country, the people that are ruining these public figures, the fact that they have to make you choose. And I am on the side of humanity. I don't care what you've said and what you've done. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But we don't deserve to suffer in this society because someone doesn't like us. It's like someone's giving it the green light and like put them down. Yeah. And I've seen it happen. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen. I mean, if you ever go back to it, we used to get films. I don't know if you remember, but we used to get films on people being fired. It was kind of a way of putting people down. And I remember I watched an episode of X-Files and someone got fired, right? And it was such an insightful episode that they got an agent who could do some supernatural psychic abilities to figure it out. And it was so interesting. But when someone is fired, people harbor that in them. Like, you fired me and it was disrespectful, it was personal. That's life in general. You know what I mean? When it happens to people, regardless, people just want to let you go. People just want to fire you. People just want to get you excluded, removed, banned. I mean, if I worked a job and I ticked all the boxes, I would come across an individual and they would do it. They would do everything in their power to get me removed. And I believe that. You know what I mean? It happened to me in every facility I went to. That's why I became this guy, because I know that I can open the eyes of people. I can open their eyes to the truth. You know what I mean? I've exposed the matrix, but only a fraction, a portion, a percentage. I haven't opened it fully. And that's my goal. My goal here is to explain in full detail unhappy people start drama for no reason. And I'll say it again, because it will go on. And I'm sorry, but my country's under attack. It is. This dumbass prime minister, this piece of shit, this vile cunt, for whatever reason. You said you weren't going to mention no names. I mentioned CADs. I'm not going to comply to these terms and conditions. You can go fuck yourself if you think that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? You got to be able to express yourself. You've got to be able to be like, you know what? that offends me. I gotta say it how it is. You gotta be able to say, like, if I want to do this, I'll do that. If I want to do that, and you know, and people have to just accept it because I do it, bro. I do it, and so can you. So that's my view on it, and that's it. I don't want to talk anymore because I'm just infuriated by this